likes cars. Today we're going to be looking at the Suzuki Swift Sport. Suzuki relaunched the Swift range for the 2005 model year, and it marked a radical departure from what had come before. The previous generation Swift was a little bit like Patrick Gower in that it had a face only a mother could love. So Suzuki hired a designer that wasn't visually impaired and came up with this much improved design. So up front you can see the differences over the standard car. You have a honeycomb grille here and here, and you have these gunmetal grey accents and integrated fog lamps here. All Swift Sports come with these 16-inch alloy wheels wrapped in fat sticky tyres. So there are four-wheel disc brakes on this car, and there's stiffer suspension over the standard car to give a more sporting ride. So on the side of the car you have gunmetal grey side skirts. So around the back the Swift has a brand new bumper, honeycomb grille down below, twin exhausts, and a bit more gunmetal grey to finish it off. The Suzuki Swift Sport features different rear tail lights from a standard car. When you brake, there is no doubt what you are driving. So to finish off the back, we've got this spoiler, which of course improves downforce. Stepping inside the Suzuki Swift Sport, you find an interior that's upgraded over the standard car. The most noticeable feature are these sports bucket seats, which come with red upholstery and red stitching. They're reasonably supportive and they've got nice side bolstering here and can be adjusted forwards and backwards manually by a lever down below, or the back rest of the seat can be adjusted also with another lever. You can pump them up and put them down. They are fine for someone of my build, but someone who's larger might find them to be quite uncomfortable. So another feature you'll notice is a lever-wrapped steering wheel with red stitching. It's quite nice to hold and adds to the sporting feel of this car. Down below we have sporty aluminium pedals. So other upgrades over the standard Swift are the silver door trims here. In front of me I have three dials. I've got a rev counter that revs to 7,000 RPM, a speedometer, a fuel gauge and a temperature gauge. So above that is a clock, a temperature gauge and a fuel economy readout. So one nice feature of this car is that the front and rear wipers are intermittent, and you have an adjustable headlight button here which raises and lowers your headlights. The climate control system in this car is automatic, which is an upgrade over the standard car and adds automatic air conditioning. Over to my right I've got full electric windows all round with automatic drop down for the driver's side window. I also have electrically folding side mirrors for parking. So on the side we've got door pockets, which are really strange because all they can really fit in is a novel. Maybe Suzuki wants you to read more. Moving on to the centre console, we have a nice storage cubby here. We have two cup holders here which are big enough for most beverages. We have a power socket here, and we have the gearbox which comes with a silver gear surround, and the gear stick comes with a nice leather covering and silver accents with chrome base. Now one omission that Suzuki made with this car was the addition of a centre console. This is an aftermarket unit and really comes in handy. The infotainment system in this car is very typical of what you'll find in most Japanese imports. It's an aftermarket unit, and as such it reads in Japanese and usually tells you that you're in the middle of the ocean. This is hooked up to a 4-speaker sound system with 2 tweeters, and this car has an aftermarket subwoofer fitted for extra bass. One nice thing about the interior is that it has these chromed air vents here, which add just that little bit extra to the overall cabin design. There is a glove box which is big enough to fit in gloves and other such things. So the sun visors in this car are fairly basic. You can fold them down, and if you do that you'll find that there is a mirror and a card holder, but that's it. Well, overall the design is a big improvement over what came before. The previous generation Swift really was Japanese 90s fantastic horribleness. It was really poor and really ugly. So this was a breath of fresh air and felt far more European in its execution. However, it doesn't feel so European in its execution of materials. It's cheap in here. In fact, I would say there's more plastic in the interior of this car than there was in the latest Lego movie. You've got scratchy plastics here, scratchy plastics here, 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 everywhere. it's pretty nasty. That said, it's a cheap car, so it's probably fine for the price of a vehicle. Stepping in the back of the Suzuki Swift Sport reveals more space than you might otherwise be expecting for such a small car. I'm 5'7" and the seat in front of me is in my normal driving position, and I fit just fine. If I put my feet under the seat in front of me, I can stretch out and it's reasonably comfortable, and it would be fine for medium to long journeys. Headroom, I've got just enough headroom, although taller passengers may struggle. One handy feature is the seatbelt clips in the rear. As you can see in the rear, the red seats and red stitching continues. Now the Suzuki Swift Sport is a 5-seater, however, if you find yourself in the middle seat, you won't want to be here for very long. Firstly, because of the centre tunnel, you sit with your legs either side of that, and you sit like this, which is fine. However, of course, if you're passengers, they'll want knee room as well, which means your knees would have to go in like this, and it's not very comfortable. So it's best to treat the Suzuki Swift Sport as a 4-seater. Stepping around the rear of the car and opening up the boot reveals a small amount of space, although it's quite practical. There is a removable parcel tray here, and you can see that there are tie-down hooks here and here. The seats are easy to fold flat. All you need to do is clip these 2 levers forward, and you have a nice flat load floor to load things into, which is really quite easy. The boot floor is foldable, so you can easily access the space underneath, or you can fold it and put it here, or remove it in its entirety. There is also a handy light here to illuminate the boot. With the boot floor in place, there's enough space for a medium-sized bag and a soft bag. With the boot divider removed, you can fit in one large suitcase, one medium-sized bag, one medium-sized soft bag, a small bag, another small bag, and a camera bag. Underneath the boot floor, instead of having a spare tyre, you have an air compressor and some tyre goop. The Suzuki Swift Sport is powered by a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder engine producing 125 horsepower. It has 109 pound-feet of torque, and it's good to get the Suzuki from 0 to 62 miles an hour in 8 seconds. So how does the Suzuki Swift Sport drive? Let's find out. On the motorway, the Suzuki Swift Sport's ride is just fine. It doesn't bounce around too much and is reasonably acceptable. So it's on these twisting roads where the Suzuki Swift Sport really excels. Its dynamic chassis and fat tyres with sticky sport suspension really comes in its own. You can really throw it around on these twisting, bendy roads. It's a joy to drive, and you'll really enjoy it. This is where you start to understand why it feels like a mini GTI to drive, because it really does have the best steering you could imagine. The communicative steering allows you to take corners with confidence and ease, and at speeds that really shouldn't be allowed in anything this small. The gearbox does an okay job of changing down, but you are left wanting for a paddle shifter. So on the open road it's pretty bumpy and it's quite noisy. Some might say this is a price to pay for such a good chassis. If you can get over the harsh ride and the slightly noisy cabin, this is a great car to drive and reward you every time. It'll also get great fuel economy with a combined fuel range of 7.5 litres per 100 k's. And values for them have remained strong. This is one car that probably won't appreciate an awful lot if you buy one. You can get one for around 10,000 New Zealand dollars. So to conclude, the Suzuki Swift Sport is a small, sporty car that is great on gas and will most certainly be quite reliable. It really does a good impression of pretending to be a Golf GTI, and that makes it quite endearing and charming, which will make you smile. It's also great on a twisty road and has great handling. If you're in the market for a small sporty car, then you should absolutely consider the Suzuki Swift Sport. Anyway, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe to this channel and share with your friends. I'll be having more videos coming along soon.